Picture this. It's the year 656, in the holy city of Medina. A simmering political crisis is about to boil over and end in blood. The assassination of the third Caliph, Uthman ibn Affan, wasn't just the murder of a leader. Oh no. It was an event that would completely rip apart the early Muslim empire, creating divisions that we can still feel today.
So how on earth did it come to this? How does one man's death spark a catastrophic civil war? We're going to dive into the final, tragic moments of Caliph Uthman's life and see exactly how they lit the fuse that would reshape history forever. Okay, to really get what happened in the attack, you first have to understand the pressure cooker atmosphere in Medina at the time. For weeks, you had these disgruntled groups from all over, Egypt, Kufa, Basra, camped out in the city. They had a list of grievances against the Caliph and his government, and what started out as a protest, well, it escalated fast. And make no mistake, this wasn't just some spontaneous mob. It was a coordinated movement with specific leaders channeling all that anger. These guys, you see here, organized the protesters and eventually turned the whole thing into a tight siege around the Caliph's own home. Now, inside the house, Uthman had plenty of loyal defenders ready to go. We're talking about the sons of some of Islam's most famous figures. They were armed and they were ready to fight. But Uthman, he kept telling them no. He absolutely refused to be the reason that Muslim blood was shed in the Prophet's holy city. He was holding out for peace, a peace that was tragically never going to come. But here's where it gets really dark. The rebels' whole strategy was a lie. This two-faced approach is absolutely key to understanding why things were about to explode. You can see the chilling difference right here. Publicly, to all the people in Medina, they were saying, hey, we just want Uthman to resign, that's all. But behind the scenes, under the cover of darkness, they were getting ready to murder him. The historical sources actually use a very specific Arabic word for this plan, rila. Now, this isn't just murder. It means a treacherous, stealthy assassination. It tells us that what was about to happen wasn't some riot that got out of hand. It was a premeditated plot designed to catch the victim totally by surprise. So how'd they do it? Well, they didn't just charge the front door where all the defenders were waiting. Nope, they were way sneakier. A small group of assassins literally climbed the walls from a neighbor's property, the home of the family of Amr bin Hazm, and slipped inside through a small opening, completely unseen. And now we're at the heart of the tragedy. The events that followed happened in a chaotic, rapid-fire succession inside the Caliph's home, and they would change the course of history forever. The whole attack happened in this horrifying sequence. The first man to reach the elderly Caliph was Muhammad bin Abi Bakr. He shoves Uthman down, sits on his chest, and grabs him violently by the beard. But then Uthman says something that shames him, and he backs off. Seeing this, Kina bin Bishr and al-Ghafiqi rush forward, and it's Kina who lands the first devastating blow with a sword. Just think about those words for a second. By bringing up Muhammad's own father, the deeply respected first Caliph, Abu Bakr, Uthman made an appeal to his honor. And for just a moment, it actually worked. But only for a moment. This is probably the single most powerful and heartbreaking image from that day. At the very moment he's struck, Uthman is reading the Quran. As his blood starts to spill, it falls onto the holy pages. I mean, the symbolism there is just, it's devastating. But Uthman's death wasn't the end of it, not even close. It was like a dam breaking. More rebels swarmed in, striking the Caliph's body again and again. One of them, Amr bin al-Hamik, later bragged that he stabbed the body 9 times. This frenzy just completely engulfed the house and the city. The brutality was just unbelievable. As the killers were attacking the fallen Caliph, his wife, Naila, did something incredibly brave. She threw herself over his body to shield him. A sword blow that was meant for her husband came down on her hand instead, completely severing 3 of her fingers. So you see, this went way beyond a political assassination. This was a total collapse of order. The killers immediately turned into looters. They ransacked the house, then they stormed the public treasury, and to top it all off, they set the Caliph's home on fire. This was a rebellion against everything. So, why are we still talking about this one violent day so many centuries later? Because the shockwaves were immediate, they were catastrophic, and they basically redrew the political map for generations to come. Before this moment, sure, there were political disagreements, but they were managed. The public murder of a caliph in his own capital city, that just shattered any sense of unity. It created a deep wound that couldn't be easily healed. Suddenly, there was only one question that mattered. Who was going to bring his killers to justice? And that one simple question, that call for justice, became the rallying cry that turned friends into enemies. It led directly to the first major wars between Muslim armies, the Battle of the Camel and the Battle of Siffin. This whole dark period is what we now call the First Fitna, the First Civil War, and it totally changed the path of the empire.
And here is the most cynical twist in this whole story. The assassins themselves, the men who started it all, they were terrified of facing justice, so they actively worked to make sure peace was impossible. They would sneak into both camps and start fights, making sure any talks of reconciliation would fail and explode into all-out war. It was a way to protect themselves by throwing everyone else into chaos.
The assassination of Uthman is just this stark, powerful reminder. It shows how one single act of violence, born from political anger and carried out with treachery, can shatter unity, unleash forces nobody can control, and create divides, political and religious, that can last for more than 1,000 years. It really makes you think about the immense, tragic power that can be packed into a single moment in time.